Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Abdullah Konte here with Skylar Nelson. It's another episode of Win Sports. We have a new commander coming to town, or I guess he's already in town.
He's in
native.
town.
Yeah, as a native
He's
of
native.
this area. Basically, we have Stefon Diggs being signed to the roster for the Washington Commanders. We've talked a lot about wide receiver 2 and if they needed to add somebody. It seemed like there was a possibility that they were just going to, continue with the team that they have now or with the guys they have now. But they brought him in, and honestly, it brings some good questions outside of just the excitement of a new player is, who's getting cut, who is in jeopardy of getting cut in that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Also, what number is he going to wear is another one that's a conversation. So,
Yes.
Skylar, how are you? How was practice today? Was there any thoughts that this might be something that would happen today?
I'm doing good. Practice was very interesting today. A lot kind of went down. Obviously, it was another offensive day out there, but, we saw there were some heated moments out there, gotta admit. Obviously, everybody has seen a little bit of the gist on Twitter, some things going down, but, I gotta say, today's practice, was still a great, healthy competition, rain or shine. They had the pads on, they were out there. I will say, I was on my way home when Stefon Diggs got signed. I got the alert right through my phone. You actually texted me too.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. Well, first of all, I actually thought you were playing with me because I'm on my way home. So I was like, you're joking, right? And I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay. So
yeah, I can break news too, man. I can break news.
Because it's something that we've been talking about for a while, and I know we were joking too, like just about how blown out of proportion this was going to be. I mean, to be honest, this is something that's been long overdue. I've talked to the fans earlier in camp last week and into this week, and, fans wanted Diggs here. Obviously, the initial thought was to have Brandon Ayuk here. That is no longer an option. And I still, even after everything that happened, still didn't even think that that was an option, because of, the Commanders want to add somebody. They will do that. And AP has proven to do that. May not be the fastest guy to make signings, but, he makes it happen when it counts, right? So the biggest thing about this entire situation is, it's long overdue. The fans want him here. He wants to be here. And, that's all that matters at this point.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a big signing, and it's one of these things where, like, I've been saying that they should do it just because he was out there and he wanted to be on this team. But the biggest part of it is because of the fact that I just didn't want them to go through another season like it was last year where it was like, yo, it's Terry or nothing else. And that was kind of how I was feeling again, where there's a lot of guys that can make a play here or there. And we're seeing some of them step up. Like Luke has been having a really good camp. Absolutely. And even Traylon Burks, like I think his ability's there. We just have to see him fully be ready to go and healthy.
Yes.
So they have some guys. Yami's been playing well. But is there anybody that you're like, yo, if Terry goes down, I think we can rely on him? And we've seen Stefon Diggs do this. Last year, he played 52% of the snaps and was still a 1,000-yard receiver in a scheme where he played in for 1 year. So for him to come in and be able to have large production on this team would be not a surprise. And so getting Jaden the help that he needs, Jaden looks incredible. Why not get him another, toy to play with, another guy to be a part of the squad? So I'm all for it. You know what I mean? My biggest thing is just, it goes down to, who, like, one, the number thing, what number is he going to wear? I'm
That's
interested in that,
question.
obviously, because there's not a lot that's available. But then the second thing is, who's he replacing? Who is in jeopardy now? Because we've talked about this the other day. We kind of talked about who it's about, like 7 guys. Like they might have to hold on to 7, mainly because they have a couple guys that are very strong special teamers that they can't really let go. What are they going to do here? You know what I mean? So what's your take on it? Are you worried about the receiver room, or is there somebody in mind to you that you're like, this guy has to be a little bit more concerned?
Well, to be honest with you, I'll start with who I think are kind of in the clear as of right now in my head. I mean, I think Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane are 2 guys that are kind of in the clear only because of the fact that they need two guys that are on special teams who have proven themselves to be able to have those types of responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
So when I think about the wide receiver room, and you said it yourself, like Luke had a great camp in the last 2 days that they've had pads on. He's gotten stronger, kind of just, with his blocking. He's gotten stronger. He's not the flashiest wide receiver. I've been talking about this.
But he's making plays.
Year.
Yeah,
but he's making plays. Jalen Lane, although he had a huge drop yesterday in practice, he still had some early on practices before, I would say, before today, before yesterday and today, where it was just like, he's finding his niche. I think one of the biggest things is Jalen is starting to catch more with his hands and not his body. That's something that I've started to see from him a lot more, and just he has the speed as well, which kind of contributes most on special teams. But, these guys are trying to find a niche in actual gameplay outside of special teams. So I will give them that kind of benefit of the doubt. Now, guys that I am worried about, I'm worried about Van Jefferson. I'm worried about Treylon Burks because we don't know what this means for them. I mean, you could kind of throw Diami in that kind of conversation, although Diami has had a good camp. But again, they need guys that now they have to make the decision of who's going to back up Stefon and then who's going to back up Terry. Yeah. That's the biggest question. And we're looking at all these guys just being able to back up Terry. But it's like, okay, who can we keep that we know can fit in both spots?
Yeah,
just fine.
Well, it's interesting because when you really look at it, there are about 5 guys that are automatically, kind of tied to being on the squad, and I do think it's Terry, Stefon Diggs, now Antonio Williams, and then I think Jalen Lane is a really, really good punt returner. As much as he's not playing super well at receiver, he's too valuable, I think, as a punt returner to just let him go. We saw what happened when Mikey had to jump in for punt returns in Miami. There's not a lot of guys that can punt return well, right? You can find a lot more kick returners, but Luke McCaffrey's also playing well, right? And so, Diami has to, for me, I think that the next guy that I feel confident in making the squad is probably Diami. It's between Burks and Van Jefferson. And I think Burks, he better practice every dang, practice, right? Because I think there's a lot of football left to play. They got 3 preseason games, 2 joint practices, so we're going to learn a lot. But I would say that Burks needs to show his ability because I think the ability's there. But if there is any concern from them that he's not going to be reliable because of being injury prone, if that's what you want to call him at this point, then he's probably going to be the one that's on the outside looking in, right? But apparently Van Jefferson had a good day today. So, a lot of people, it's just I feel like depending on who you talk to, it's going to be a really, really interesting decision at the bottom of that list. But to be honest, though, for those who are watching and care about this team, you got to be extremely excited. This is a guy that's coming in and it's really solidifying that second receiver spot. I mean, this is a guy who, was a number 1 in the league for a long time. And I think there's a lot of it, being the pride of playing for his home team, a team that he grew up rooting for. I think that's going to say a lot. And when we thought about, the weaknesses on the squad, I mean, we've talked about center and then receiver, and I mean, there's some corner stuff like that. We'll get into all of that, later on. But basically, this is filling a big hole, and not even. And if you were really strong or felt really good about all those other receivers, then you're just making more options for Jaden. And to me, that's all I want to hear. I love to see what New England did by getting AJ Brown, getting Romeo Doubs. They went and got more guys for him to play with. They brought Steph Diggs last year for him, and they went to the Super Bowl. So ideally, bringing guys that are going to help make Jaden's life easier is something that I'm all about. So,
Plus, on top of that, too, one of the biggest things I was thinking about today, because I was having this conversation just randomly. The biggest thing is people say Diami solidified. I agree, and to a certain degree. I think Diami has had some great days at camp, but I think what the factor is between Treylon and Van is the fact that I think based on what I've seen, we haven't seen the most out of Van because of the targeting. I feel like Marcus has primarily been the guy that's been throwing to Van, and he's had some on and off moments, a lot of off more than on, unfortunately, being the backup quarterback. Now, I'm still very confident in Marcus. I just think that I'm still trying to figure out because, to be honest, Van hasn't been like a standout guy so far to me. But at the same time, I'm also starting to wonder, okay, is it, how the ball is being thrown to him, or is it him, or is he getting in those spots correctly?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure because there was a play, I want to say late last week, I want to say, or was it on Saturday? One of those days, I remember, Jaden was targeting Van and Van just couldn't get it to go. And I know that he was trying to direct Van, like, hey, come over here, but he just couldn't get it to go. And that's what made me curious of like, okay, is that connection working? Because we saw, in minicamp, DQ was like, I'm impressed by Van.
Yeah.
That's a guy that I have my eye on, to be honest to you, when he was asked about the wide receiver room. So, it makes me wonder, is Van really getting the chance that he needs? But then also, too, Traylon was kind of in the same boat last year. And then, he kind of was brought in when they needed the depth and he showed out. And, to me personally right now, if we had to pick someone right now, I would, based on performance, I got to go with Traylon. But at the same time, I am worried about the injuries.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think based upon performance and like future value, you go with Traylon because, like, Van Jefferson is at the end, more towards the end of his career. I don't even want to age him too much, but Traylon Burks has been in the league for like what, 4 years? Like, he's still brand new, and to be honest, like, this is his opportunity to really take the next step. I have a lot of faith in Traylon Burks' ability. It's just staying on the field. Like, that's the only reason why, to me, like, if we're arguing who, if we're just talking about based on ability, I don't think Traylon should definitely be on the squad. Like, there shouldn't even be a consideration on who gets cut. He definitely should be there. It's just more of like, hey, we know these 4 or 5 guys are going to be able to play. We're not worried. We're kind of worried about you if you're going to actually be willing to be here, able to be here, right? So, it is what it is. But I think that the best thing about this move is that it solidifies a group and gives us so much more. How much more confident do you feel on that group? I mean, I feel so much better about that group, knowing that there's another guy that's going to be able to take pressure off of Terry. Like, Terry's never played with like a legit number 2 receiver. Like, this is so exciting to see. So I just can't wait for it. I like Diggs. I think he has a good mindset. I just need him to stay out of trouble, which is not the easiest thing for him to do.
Drama off the field.
Okay, so 100%. So let's talk about today. I mean, look, or not just today. Let's just kind of wanted to do like a week overview of what we've been seeing on the field. Like, look, I've only been there one day, so obviously I'm going to be asking you more about your thoughts on this team overall. But just want to start talking about the offense and talking about who's really standing out. Like, we can talk about it by position, but ideally I just kind of want to know your general feel for this offense overall. Like, they started off a little slow. It looks like they were playing a little bit better yesterday. I kind of really loved to see that Jaden was making sharp throws across the middle. Chig was catching balls. We saw Luke McCaffrey had a really big day. So and we also saw one thing I didn't talk to say this about on Josh's channel was Bill. Bill has been catching the ball a lot more, and that was the biggest thing for me that I wanted to see out of him from last year to this year. If he can catch the ball, he is your number 1 guy.
Exactly.
I would say he could definitely supersede Rachaad White. So, what's your take? How you been feeling about the offense overall?
The offense has made a lot of great improvements that I'm actually impressed by. Obviously, it's kind of night and day like last year because we didn't see a gel in the offense that we had back maybe towards I'll say this. In 2024, the offense really didn't start to truly perform until the end of camp. Then last year, we didn't really see like a really good spark in the offense, hardly at all. And that was because you could say it was because of the Terry McLaurin signing. There were some distractions off the field. There were just some little things. I mean, we saw the offense perform here and there when Jaden Daniels and Debo had some great moments. But, outside of that, it wasn't like crazy. I feel like with this year, what makes the biggest difference is there's multiple contributors, not just from the tight end room, but but from the running back room and then the wide receivers as well. And then we even see some strides in the O-line, which makes it great. And then that also not only makes Jaden's life easier, but it allows him to grow and only focus on scheming, not focus on who he can trust. And I think that just allows the offense to just kind of open up. You know, I've been talking to some players. I talked to Andrew Wiley today. I talked to Chris Paul. Like, they were even saying, you know, they see, you know, this bright light in Jaden and that they're grateful to have him. And then also too, just overall, you know, David Blau, being able to communicate with him, you know, even today I tweeted out, you know, the way that, and I was joking about this with someone earlier, like, I felt like last year it was really hard to kind of distinguish where the coordinators were out on the field during practices. I was like, where are they? Do we always see them? Like, we technically really don't see them until we have to talk to them, right? I see Blau and Durante out there screaming, yelling, directing guys, making corrections, you know, encouraging guys to do better. And that's what I want to see. Like, even today, every practice that I've been at so far, Blau has been, before practice ramps up and the guys got to band together and get into their position groups and start working or doing team drills or special teams, you see David Blau just take the QBs and say, you know what, let's do warm-ups. I'm here for you guys. I want to talk to you guys. And primarily so, I mean, rightfully, he was an assistant in the QB room before he was a coordinator, so I get that part. But giving them that sort of attention before practice, you know, kind of intrigued me a little bit as well. Because I didn't see that from Cliff. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone else, but I didn't see that from Cliff. So, you know, those things speak volume. But I will say for the offensive side, you know, Bill has made tremendous strides. You know, he talked about mini camp, getting better, doing better for himself, you know, trying to grow and evolve in that room. You know, he talked about, you know, with trying to get down blocking, trying to get down ball security. You know, Dan Quinn emphasized that very early on, that ball security is important. Blau emphasizes the same thing. You know, that's not just for the running backs, by the way, but that's also for the receivers. And, you know, we haven't seen too many drops actually from any of the offensive players in camp so far. We've seen like mistakes here and there, but it's nothing crazy where it's like, oh my gosh, like that's insane. Like that keeps happening over and over again. So, you know, Bill is a guy that stood out to me so far. I'll say Luke McCaffrey for sure. Definitely a guy. I'll also say Jalen Lane. You know, Rashad White too. Rashad White.
Wait, hold on. What has Jalen Lane done? Because like if Jalen Lane, because like for me, I'm hoping to see more Jalen Lane.
Yeah,
but like
I'm hoping
like my thing is that has he been? Because the practice I saw wasn't great for him, but has he done pretty well, like catching the ball, like, you know what I mean, at receiver? Because it's an important spot for him right now, honestly. You know.
Well, I thought you were going to say something else, but
no.
Oh, no. Jalen, yesterday and today were not his best practices, but he did have a good practice on Monday and Saturday. So I will say that.
Yeah.
That's why I will say, like, I kind of put him in there a little bit. But, you know, yesterday he had a huge drop, was a big concern. He had some issues with targets today, just a little bit. But we've been seeing a different receiver step up each day. Yeah. Like, today we saw Jacoby Jones get a touchdown from Marcus, you know, which was interesting.
What is that when they started fighting? Because, like, I mean, honestly, you told me there was a lot of rumbling. Like, I saw a lot of tweets about the rumbling. Okay, sorry. I just, I didn't look. I thought we were talking about boxing. Sorry. Go ahead.
You know, there's been different receivers stepping up, but, you know, I will say, you know, Traylon has stepped up very early on in camp. We saw some great strides from him. You know, Luke has been a guy that stood out to me. You know, Bill, like I mentioned before, Jalen early on as well. And then also, too, you got to get to that tight end room. Like, Colson Yankoff has been balling.
Like, let's talk about that a little bit because it's like the unfortunate thing was the practice I've been to, which has just been one, unfortunately, so far.
I
know. Chill.
Y'all be wanting to talk to him, and he ain't.
No, look, man. I got a day job. I'm coming Saturday. I'm gonna be locked in. I'm gonna be locked in.
Pads on.
Nah, Joe. I heard they're gonna do pads on Saturday, which I'm excited about. Right. So, but every practice seems to be like a Colson Yankoff, like it had some crazy catch. And so look, this is the best thing about switching up, like, or coordinators and coaches and stuff like that. Sometimes some guys just don't play well with a certain group or a certain kind of offense. Do you think that Yankoff is going to have like a legit role, or is this kind of just like, he's kind of having a good camp, but like he's going to go back to just being a special teams guy?
It's kind of hard to tell right now because they've rotated him throughout almost every sort of set that you could possibly see. First team, second team, third team. So it's hard to tell with Colson right now, but he's been balling outside of Chig, who we know is going to be that number one tight end that they brought in. He's been balling out, to be honest. And him and Lawrence Cager, they've been competing.
Yeah,
they've been competing, which is nice to see, especially since, with John Bates being
out.
Yeah.
It's interesting because they, they definitely are probably going to keep 4 tight ends again because they play so many.
It's giving that
two tight end sets, but I mean, if both of these guys are playing well, that could be a jeopardy for some other position group, right? I mean, they have the ability to construct their 53 in any kind of way. So, if these guys can show their value on the field as well as in special teams, there could be reasons why they want to keep 5 guys.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the Commanders, too, based on how special teams is being set up right now, it's not something that we can talk about in full capacity, but they have a lot of guys that are special teams contributors. It's all about picking the right guys that can be great in those gameplay scenarios when we need you in the red zone, when we need you for that third down, or for that specific moment to move strides up the field. That's what they're trying to solidify and make those evaluations. And I think they're close to making those decisions. But I also feel like, especially, getting to the defensive side, they do a lot of different rotations. Like, even when camp first started, we didn't see, when they started the team drills, 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s, we didn't see, Jaden Daniels being the first guy out there. Like, they'll throw out Marcus, the first team defense, and like the second team or third string offense. And I'd be like, well, what are we looking at? Now it's time to see, and that's where evaluations really come into play. I got to give DQ and his staff credit. They really are honing in on what these evaluations mean this year and mixing it up, trying to even throw us off of our game a little bit. So, it's definitely great to see. But those are the guys, to me, that have probably stood out the most. And then also, Lermy Tunsil wasn't in practice yesterday, neither was Sam Cosmi. So we did see, some more reps from, Julian. We saw some reps from Josh. So, those guys also too stepping into the fold on the O-line, stepping in, it's just making great strides. And we're still at the left guard competition battle between Chris Paul and Brandon Coleman. So those are things that we're still evaluating, and it's better. Even I was talking to, Chris Paul today, like, it's better evaluating those things when you have the pads on, So, we're still at that point where we kind of know who's going to be in these positions. Oh my gosh, the sun is just coming in crazy.
No, it's funny because I didn't really recognize it until like 3 minutes ago. I was like, was the sun? Or was like,
and I'm thinking like
it's like golden hour in there, man. Like, you got the good light on you all of a sudden.
I don't
was like,
know
what's
why
happening?
this chooses to happen to me in this moment, but whatever.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's keep rolling.
To be honest with you, we get to see the left guard position at its best when the pads are on. And to me personally, it's a neck and neck tie right now. I got to say, they're still making those evaluations. So I'm excited to see, we're really going to see where these positions really pan out in these joint practices. And that's where I'm like, let's get to those.
100%. I mean, I think that, like, we talked about this in a prior episode of, like, it's really hard to evaluate when you're talking about evaluation when it's like, is the team bad? Like, is the offense bad, or is the defense good? Is it, is the other way around? And, like, for instance, yesterday I had people talking when I was talking to Josh, and they were like, yo, you're talking about how Jaden's looking so good and making all these great passes. Does that mean the defense sucks? I'm like, No,
No.
like quite contrary, like the defense was in there, and to be honest, the O-line was struggling yesterday because they didn't have all their guys.
Exactly.
And so
And the
some of those
defense
plays would
does
have been
not
sacks.
suck at all.
I don't
They've
think so
been
either. I
dominant.
mean, I think that like if we're talking about which one's going to change significantly from last year to this year, it's obviously the defense. They made more, changes to the defense, all that. But yeah, I mean, like, look, I think I kind of want to like, switch over to the defensive side, right? Because we've seen the aggression. We are starting to see them get in fights and stuff like that. I think they need to start by hitting somebody else, which is why these joint practices next week are going to be great for them.
Chill
But
on the fights. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, no, we don't need. We don't. I mean, look, we just don't need it. I saw it was all over Twitter. I mean, I saw it. I was like, yo, what's going on? But that being said, like, I mean, today was kind of one where they did a lot of one-on-ones. It looks like the DBs were kind of taken. They were kind of put to the test a little bit. So, what's your take on some of the guys in that room? I mean, are you feeling more confident in some people and less confident in others, or like, what's the vibe for you?
To be honest, to me, like, I feel like that the receivers at first, in the first round of them doing it, they were just trying to get a fitting. Like, for example, Treylon went up against Rasul Douglas. Now, the preview of that in your head is just like, okay, like, what's happening, right? Yeah. So, first time go around, Rasul beat Treylon. Second go around, Treylon got his leg back. Same thing happened with Luke. When he was going head to head, Jalen couldn't get it together too much today from what I saw. Hopefully, down the line gets better. I think he's still trying to get in those moments. But a guy that kind of concerned me a little bit on the defensive end was Mikey. I think he only had one moment where he beat a guy to the punch. And
yeah, it sounded like he had a rough day just based off following like tweets and all that stuff. But yeah. Like, I mean, was this more in one-on-ones or was this even in team drills? Like where was this all day? It just wasn't a great day for him?
I feel like it was a little bit in between because, I mean, fights start for a reason.
People getting frustrated.
Me personally, I think that was just, just some frustration coming out, They tired of seeing the same faces. Look, I've been around football teams, okay? I've seen kind of just, whether it's college, the pro level, high school level, when you are battling it out for such a long period of time, you get sick of battling that same person. You're like, I want something new. I want something exciting. Yeah. Why are we always battling each other? Obviously the point of practice is so that you guys can get better and learn from each other. And they've done that. These guys are still brothers at the end of the day. There's nothing to be worried about here. I was even saying this is kind of great for them because it increases the competition and pushes the physicality to an all-time high. And it allows them to show up and show out, not just for themselves out on the field, but for one another. So, for me, but, obviously DQ being that type of coach, that's not going to blow over for him well. He's a lover, not a fighter, right? So, fight on the field against other people, not each other. That's just the kind of coach that he is. But for Mikey in particular, I feel like, we haven't seen any like big strides from him. Like obviously, there were a couple days in camp where we were like, Rasul Douglas did this, or, Amik Robinson. The reason why we haven't heard too much about him too, and it's not even the fact that these are bad corners for Amik. We haven't really seen too much of the ball going in his direction most of the time. So that's also too where it's like, because people were asking me about Amik on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, Amik's cool. Like, he's learning. He's that guy that they brought in who they're pretty confident about. But I would say for Mikey, I think the biggest issue right now in team drills, I'm starting to think that they are trying to figure out where to put Mikey, especially if Trey Amos comes back.
So basically it sounds like Mikey is kind of in a tough spot because it seems like he was based on the 2 years of evaluation, it feels like he's probably better on the outside. He struggled a little bit in the slot, but feels like there's two guys on the team that are better outside corners than he is, and now they also have a slot corner as well. So, like, talking to, I think I was listening to Josh's video today, and hearing some of the other guys that are covered the team, it sounds like, if Amos comes back to form, it'll be Amos and Rasul on the outside with a Meek in the slot. Where does that leave Mikey? I mean, they will do dime packages. They'll have multiple, corners out there. There's people who want to say that Mikey should play safety. And to be honest, like, we've seen him in some sets where he's kind of back there. But I think he's just a great athlete.
But they have a great set of safeties. Not to interrupt you.
Well, but do they though? Like, I mean, they? I mean, we know Nick Cross can play.
We know Will Harris too. To a certain degree.
Sure, yeah, to a certain degree. That's the thing. Like, I think there's
depends on the situation.
Okay, so that's my thing. My thing is, like, after Nick Cross, I don't know if there's anybody that I feel like 100% like I'm down for it. To be honest, the person I feel the most confident in after Nick Cross, it's probably Jeremy Reeves. And I know that it's because Jeremy Reeves maybe not is every down starter that people love, but Jeremy Reeves made more plays than any of these other safeties did last year.
Yeah.
Right? So, to me, there's this talk about, Mikey going back there. I mean, he's an athlete. He's a ball hawk, but I don't know if he's a good safety. It's not just so easy to just move a guy from corner to safety.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think for Mikey, I'm not specifically sure if this scheme will allow him to play the outside like people want him to. It's not, and at this point, the thing is, Mikey plays better on the outside, but like you said, there are better corners that play the outside better than Mikey right now based on what we've seen. And I think that's going to be the ultimate factor of kind of, is he going to shift to support the safeties? Is he going to shift to the safety position, kind of? Those are things that we're going to have to talk about. And I think on the safety side of things,
I don't think it happens, by the way.
I'm concerned. I don't think so either. But but you're right. There is a lot of concern at the depth of safety, just outside of Nick Cross. And,
especially because in this defense, safeties are very important. They might be even more important.
They
than
rotate
like,
the
corners
most.
And that's why we've seen more three safety sets and stuff like that. Like they're really, really like ideal to this defense. So, I'm just basically saying that, like, it's looking like Mikey is a little bit in a part of no man's land if Trey Amos comes back, because now you have three, and it doesn't hurt to have more than three good corners. Like, the more good corners
you're right.
you have,
the more corners, the merrier. But
it's
all about spacing.
Mikey is known to be like a playmaker on this defense, especially when it comes to causing turnovers. So I feel like they're going to have to find a way to get him on the field. And it's not like he hasn't been playing with the ones. Like, he's been playing with the ones. It just sounds like, when Trey Amos comes back, somebody has to move, and who's that going to be? So
I'm just worried about the scheme. I don't want schemes to expose anyone, because at this point this year, there's no excuse. Okay?
Sure.
There's none.
Yeah.
I don't want schemes exposing anyone. I don't think that they have at all at this point. But for me, I think where Mikey is concerned, it's all about solidifying those coverages and making sure that he's in those right spots. And then also seeing, although he's better on the outside, I think he's going to have to learn how to be better in the slot too.
Yeah.
Because of
if he really wants to have a long career, I think he needs to learn how to play in the slot, because I think his body frame is more catered to that. But I don't know, man. Like, I mean, my thing is that, like, this is where they can be creative. We just got to wait and see.
Yeah.
And the one thing, just like the receiver group, is that we're extremely early in camp. We're just 1 week into camp.
Too early.
They have 3 preseason games. There's a lot of changes, injuries, all that kind of stuff that could happen that can really completely change the look of this team. So basically, let's just wait and see when we get there. So, look, let's talk a little special teams, mainly the kicker competition, because it's my favorite competition. Was there much that happened today? I don't think I even saw anything. Did they even do much kicking? Because I know yesterday was not a good day for our guy Jake Moody. But
it wasn't.
Was there any redemption elements this today's practice?
No, there wasn't kicking today. From what I saw, there wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly
asked to clarify, because I was like, "Am I missing something?" Like, there's something else I'm supposed to be looking at.
I
no.
look at all the tweets and I did not see a single tweet. And it's like I'm not the only one who's super into this. I feel like everybody's super into this kicking battle, and I had not seen any tweets about it. But I guess we could talk about yesterday because I was there for those, and there were some ugly kicks. And I think that if for those who are Drew Stevens fans, you got to be happy with the result from yesterday because of the fact that the biggest thing that I was talking to Josh yesterday about was that if they're even, they're gonna go with Drew Stevens, right? Because he's a younger talent. You know what I mean? He has a stronger leg. He has more of an ability to learn how to kick accurately than Moody has on learning how to kick harder, right? So it's definitely Drew Stevens has more of an advantage. But the one thing is that there was a little bit of accuracy issues, but with him actually now with Jake Moody now missing 3 kicks yesterday, and one of those was an ugly shank. It could be more even. So what's your take on it? Like, did you see anything, that was worth mentioning, and how do you feel like this kicker battle is going overall?
To be honest, I personally think in stature before yesterday, Jake Moody was ahead in stature, but we've even seen going back to OTAs, like Drew Stevens is just the stronger kicker. If you want to go younger, go Drew Stevens. And I think that's the theme of this year anyway. Not you yarning.
Yo, I'm old, man. Didn't sleep a lot last night. Everybody's acting like, oh, where are you? Where are you? Like, I'm just sitting at home sleeping. I wish I could be out there. I'm working. I'm grinding, man. I'll be out there soon,
the corner of my eye. I heard the but no.
Leave me alone, man. Leave me alone.
But no, you're pushing young status.
Yeah,
but okay.
No, that's fair.
But no, so Drew Stevens, even when we saw in OTAs, and I keep saying this because it is relevant to the conversation, he showed tremendous strength. Not only did you he kicks higher than Jake Moody. If you've been to training camp and you've seen the kicks not only go through when he's accurate, when he goes through the field goal, they're higher, which means that the strength is there. Okay, he's very early on in his career. The strength is there. I think for Jake, and this is the thing, is Jake came in a very crucial moment for the Commanders when they needed him most, right?
Yeah.
They had to get rid of Matt. It just wasn't working out when everything went down. In New England last year, they had to make some decisions, right? So for me, when we're talking about this, I personally think, yes, right now they're running neck and neck because although Jake missed some, Drew Stevens has some accuracy issues, which is what we just talked about. But yesterday kind of gave Drew Stevens a really huge push up the ladder, a huge stock up, because to be honest with you, that just goes to show of this is going to be a long camp for Jake. We've seen this throughout the season. Jake may have 1 or 2 good games, mess up in another game, and that's the thing is it's Drew Stevens, he may be some off in some moments, but we haven't seen him I think yesterday, based on the stats, I think he was 5 for 8 or 4 for 8 or something like that. Drew Stevens was 8 for 8, but at least with Drew Stevens, we haven't seen him be less than 5 in camp.
Yeah. So
for me, it's you got to go with Drew Stevens. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Things but you never know.
It has, like I said, I mean, it's one of these things where if they're even close, you got to go with Stevens. I just think Moody has to be perfect for him to win this.
Exactly.
And I'm okay with it. What I will say, and I said this to you yesterday on the field, I really I'm cool with either one. I like them both guys. I like both guys, and that either one making the squad would be ideal. I think that them having to earn their spot is a big difference from the kickers we've seen the last 3 to 4 years for the squad. And whoever loses is going to get a job somewhere. Yeah, they're going to get picked up right away.
Plus, each kicker that AP has brought in so far has been veteran-led. Maybe this is a sign to bring in a younger guy and to allow him to stay and battle it out.
Yeah, I mean, look, these guys that are journeymen that have gone to a lot of different teams, like, yeah, they might not have the strongest confidence knowing that this is their second or third team. I mean, this is,
Yeah.
Jake Moody's third squad, right? And so to me, having a guy who has a fresh resume, who's coming with a lot of, he has moxie, like he has a lot of confidence and everything.
Yeah.
Right? I'm using old people words. I can see you looking at me like moxie. But anyways, like what the hell is that? But
I
yeah,
know
basically,
what moxie means. Don't do that to me.
no, you just looked at me like, yo, what is this man
Because
talking
I've
about?
never heard you say that on the pod. Don't do that to me. I know what moxie means.
All right, my bad. But
You're
anyways,
funny.
yeah, no, the thing is that like, he's just, for building a squad that you want to be successful for years to come, having a young kicker talent that you feel like the fact that he's competing well against a veteran is also another thing.
Against a veteran kicker.
Yeah, it's one of these things where it's like, even if he's not 100%, even if like Jake Moody's kicking at an A minus and or excuse me, at an A level, and Stevens is kicking at an A minus level, him doing that in his rookie year might give him the edge, because they're like, yo, he's gonna get even better and better and get more and more confident. So
Yeah.
I truly do at this point believe that Drew Stevens is probably gonna win the job, but you never know. Like we talked about, we have a lot more football to play, and we'll see how these kickers do when it comes to pressure situations in these games and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we've seen, and this is the thing is, we've seen the kickers being put in two different types of situations. One is you go out there and you do all 6 of your kicks in one setting, the kicking period.
Yeah.
And then you also have the game scenarios. They've been doing, I think with them having the pads on just a little bit more, they've been doing a lot more of the game scenarios because they've been in the red zone. They've been doing a lot more. Well, no, in the red zone, they've done some kicking periods. But I will say with them doing a lot more game situational things, they've had to, put the kickers in those game situations, like when they get to a first down or this or that, or are we on fourth down? Are we doing this? Like they're tracking those things. And I think the biggest thing for them is I'd rather go with the younger kicker that has the power than to go with a veteran kicker who shows inconsistency in major areas. And we talked about this. Like, there are times where he'll kick a 56-yarder but miss a 30. You can't do that. And, like, that's the thing is it's like I can see for Stevens, it's you would think that it's easier to miss the ones that are much longer rather than miss the shorter ones. And I think there's an inconsistency there. I think Stevens is doing a hell of a job just coming in straight out of college. You got to give props to him. But, I got to give it to Jake, too, because these are the competitions that we've been wanting for so long.
And they're both playing excellently. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, sure. I think this pushed Jake in the beginning of camp because he was perfect coming out the gate in the beginning of camp. This pushed him, and that's what I wanted to see. So
they both are playing better than the guys they had in the last few years. Like, you know what I mean? Those guys were missing kicks in situations at practice, and we're like, all right. I mean, I remember you. Like, look, I'll give you your kudos on this one. Like, Skylar last year, y'all, like, I mean,
couldn't handle
every
it.
week, every time we talk, she's like, they need to get another kicker. They need to get competition. I'm like, and I'm just kind of like they got other positions to deal with. But, come the first and second week, it's like, I'm like, yo, she's right. They need another kicker.
I was scared. I was like, I was like, in my head, no disrespect. Matt was cool. But I was worried. And it showed. I was like, it shouldn't.
That Green Bay game, I'm like, yo, this guy can't kick. Like, he's missing kicks. Like, it was evident, man. It was evident early on that they needed to make a change.
Man.
And this is where the whole nice guy, I think one thing I like about DQ is like the nice guy kind of thing. I think he's kind of trying to get rid of that moniker because he's kind of feels cutthroat right now. I'm not going to lie. And that's kind of what they need.
Week last year, I was just like, I did not want to be like, because I love Coach. I just did not want to be like, we told you so.
Yeah.
But I just felt it in my soul. I'm like, why did we have to get to this point?
Yeah, it took way too long. It took way too long for them to make moves. And there was multiple situations where it took them too long to make moves. But you also got to be able to, like I mean, he had a lot of faith in his guys who played really well or did really well in 24. So sometimes it's not so easy to just pull the cord. But I think you learned your lesson, and I think the competition this year was definitely worth it. And I think regardless of who wins, the loser is going to probably be on a different squad, happy as well. I think they both are solid kickers that are going to earn a spot.
Because you know me, we was talking. I was like, just in my head, just trying to be nice. I was like, "You think it's a possibility?" And he was like,
"No,
nah.
you're talking like practice squad stuff." Yeah, I mean, I think we would.
Because they'll only sign someone to the practice squad if they really need, if injured.
I think if they could, but the rule is like somebody else can just come sign your guy off their practice squad, right? And that Jake Moody and Drew Stevens are both guys that and especially Drew Stevens. Like, if Drew Stevens doesn't win the job, somebody's going to scoop him up like that. For being a rookie, being able to compete that hard, he's going to get picked up fast. Jake Moody will also get picked up fast because I'm sure one thing that these guys will, they're also going to tell people, the other teams, like, yo, they were actually both kicking well. We only have one spot. So, take somebody else, take this. If you need a kicker, this is the guy to go with. So, they do help each other out in those kinds of ways, man. So, basically, that's kind of it, man. We hit 46 minutes. A boy got to eat, man. You know how I am. I got to go eat, man.
He hates trying to go over an hour. I be like, there's so much to talk about. He'd be like, 46 minutes.
No, look, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'll be honest. Like, even if I wanted to push through, I can't do it. I got to go eat, man. I'm sorry. My stomach dictates what I do each day, right? So basically, and to be honest, I don't have much to say. Like, I feel like we'll probably do maybe longer episodes as well when I'm actually out there, since everybody's clowning me for not being out there as often. Yeah. When I'm actually out there and able to assess these things, I will, talk more about it. But yeah, go ahead.
Also, drop in the comments if y'all want to see us do a live. We've been talking about it.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely, the live is coming for sure. Like, I got to set it up. But I think I would love for fan engagement. We're still trying to build a channel. Right, we need more people, so that's a good segue to subscribe to the channel, please. Please. I said subscribe good this time, not like last time.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But basically, subscribe to the channel.
Extra accent onto it.
Look, man, I got a list. I talk footy. Leave me alone. All right. I say Moxie. Leave me alone. Right. No, but yeah, basically, for those who are watching, subscribe. We would love to get this channel stronger and then do more live so we can interact with the people who are watching and kind of do a Q&A for anybody who has questions.
Oh, yes.
Of things that we're not talking about. Because there's a lot that we, could get into, and sometimes we just kind of forget about it, right? So, Skylar, any exiting words from you?
Real quick, because I forgot to tweet about this.
Yeah.
It's been a lot going on, y'all. People don't understand. I live in Baltimore and travel to Ashburn, Virginia every day. He hates when I mention that because he feels like...
No, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I really don't care.
Whatever.
No. Well, why are you telling people this? That's actually the question.
Well, because people be like, oh, you don't see this or you don't text this or what. Like, I messaged you about that.
People got to drive, man.
I'm working on it.
Yo, she be doing the same thing to me. Like, oh, did you see my text? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, don't even look at me like that.
Coming from the person that has to be tracked down because he's not at practice.
Yeah, man, I'm working. Like you said, I'm working. I'm doing stuff, man. Whatever. Like, people gotta grind.
But you still managed to call me and be like, hey, listen. So anyway,
all these impersonations of me gotta stop, man.
But yeah, no. To say this, I want to say thank you to everyone who has been following me on Twitter. We just hit 2K the other day.
I saw that. Yeah, congrats.
And that's a big accomplishment. Yeah. I'm excited. Because you're talking about a girl who had to kind of grow in this space. Okay, I was growing and evolving in this space. Abdullah, you've seen me grow.
Have I? No, I'm kidding. No, for real, bro. You've been great. Yeah.
Into this space, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you guys, supporting me and also to trusting me to give you guys news and to give you guys coverage at practice and camp. So I appreciate it. Let's keep it going. Subscribe to this channel. Follow Win Sports DC on Twitter as well, because we post some.
We're
great
doing a lot.
content
We're
on
going
there.
to be doing a lot more there too. Like, I think that everybody can kind of see we're trying to set things up. There's going to be a lot more, and we're excited for that. But yeah, I mean, look, same thing for me. Look, the fan base has been so good to me as an artist. Sometimes you just put yourself out there and you hope people rock with you, and that's something that I feel like this fan base, so many people show me love all the time. So we just are glad that we can be a part of it, and we want to continue to be a part of it, which is why we're doing all this extra work to give you guys great coverage, because we love being at football games and football practices.
Yes, plus we love football.
Yeah.
We love football.
We love sports, man. Yeah,
we love sports. And it's crazy because, again, as a reminder, we don't just cover the Commanders. We be out there, Mystics, Spirit.
Yeah.
Nat.
And you'll see that more with the Win Sports stuff. Like, especially when we get our website up and everything, you'll see a lot more coverage of everything there. And so we do cover everything. We love sports. It's not only just me and Skylar, there's more people too. So but yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Please, like, comment, tell us what we need to do better. Give us questions, man. We would love to do more things, more fan engagement stuff. We're just loving the fact that you're starting to recognize us and see that we're here to give you guys the best work that we can possibly do. So,
and even if we don't do a live just yet, even if you guys spam questions in the comments, or that's about our photos or about stuff that we see out there on the field, or if we're confident in certain players or how we feel about certain things, we could probably just do a video just answering questions that you guys have sent in.
Q&A, man.
Q&A pretty much. So just let us know. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy to comment.
100%.
We read most of the things that we can. So trust. And plus, too, still trying to get to the DMs and all that stuff. People that have been asking me questions, especially people that have seen me out at camp. So, we're getting to it. We're getting to it.
Okay. You hear her. She said she get into it. To hold her accountable. You know what I mean? So, you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, y'all. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Peace.